Prius gods, please forgive me for what I'm about to do. What's up, everybody? My name is Elliot, and today we are here with my other car. This is a 2016 Dodge Challenger Hellcat, and it is the polar opposite of a Prius. Let's take a look at why. First and foremost, let's go over the obvious things. This has a supercharged V8. The Prius is a 4-cylinder. This has 707 horsepower. The Prius has a measly 110. This is rear-wheel drive. The Prius is front-wheel drive. The list goes on. But let's take a closer look at some of the cool features of this Hellcat. Now, obviously, the main attraction for this car is under the hood. And the first thing you see is that big supercharger sitting right on top of the 6.2-liter V8. This engine makes 707 horsepower, which is almost exactly 7 times as much horsepower as the Prius makes. Even more astonishing, though, is how much fuel this engine is capable of using. This car is equipped with half-inch fuel lines, which are capable of spewing out 1.5 gallons of gas per minute under full throttle. I've been getting 50 miles to the gallon for the last 6 months, and we're talking about a car that could use 1.5 gallons in 1 minute, which is actually enough to empty this car's gas tank completely in just 13.5 minutes. I can make a tank of gas in my Prius last a month if I want. If I wanted to in this car, I could make a tank of gas last 15 minutes. It makes the Prius owner inside of me ill. But, I mean, it's kind of cool. Don't tell the Prius people I said that, but it's a little cool. Now, another un-Prius-like feature of this car is actually this driver's side headlight here. You might say, who cares? It's just a headlight. Well, that's where you'd be wrong. This inner headlight here is actually a ram air intake. You see, it's just kind of a hollow path that leads straight into the airbox, which is great for performance. But as a Prius owner, I need to point out a major flaw here. Let's just say you're driving behind a school bus full of punk kids, and one of those punk kids decides to toss out a pencil. You're cruising along in your Hellcat and pencil. Now, once one of those kids gets word that this car can suck in pencils, you're going to have a real problem on your hands. You're not going to have this kind of problem in a Prius. Another key difference between the Hellcat and the Prius is its prioritization of the fuel door. The Prius, the fuel door is built in seamlessly to the design. It's almost as if they don't want you to think about it. This is so in your face. It says fuel, it's black, it interrupts the design, you can't miss it. It's almost as if this car is proud of how much gas it uses. I mean, I can just imagine now, the typical Dodge Hellcat owners are running up to the gas pump and they're like, hurry, this thing's out of gas again. I got to put more gas in it. But where do I do it? Fuel. The Prius wants you to never think about putting gas in it. Just enjoy sipping on fuel. This is like, look, you're going to be putting gas in this thing a couple of times a week. We need it to be obvious where it is. Now, the trunk of this car is quite spacious, but compared to the Prius's hatch design, it just falls flat. Chalk up another win for the Prius. As far as stopping power goes, there's no regen braking here. The Hellcat uses 6-piston Brembo brakes attached to 16.5-inch rotors. Now, I've had cars with smaller than 16.5-inch wheels, and this car uses them for brakes. Of course, they have to be that big when you're trying to slow down something going fast that weighs as much as a small SUV. Yeah, that's right. This car weighs 4,500 pounds. And people think Priuses are heavy. Now, one of the coolest things I think about the Dodge Challenger Hellcat from this era is this unique hood. All functional hood scoops and vents here. This one's got a scoop, and you got 2 vents that actually really let hot air out of the engine. But let's say it's raining or your car is parked outside. These things are still open, and that poses a problem. See, let's say, yeah, it's raining. Now, guess where that water just went? That's right. It went right onto the fuse box and into the engine bay. That's not something you're gonna have to worry about in a Prius. Moving on to the inside of this car, and you're greeted with a big, meaty steering wheel, a manual transmission, and some of the most comfortable, well-bolstered seats I've ever sat in. This is a great place to spend some time. But it's also loaded with tech. Let's check out some of those cool things. While the Prius center display is focused exclusively on gas mileage and efficiency, the center display on this car will actually give you performance readouts and engine information. Pretty cool stuff. And it's really fun to watch while you're going down the road, especially this horsepower meter. Over in the center here, we can see what kind of gas mileage I was getting right before I put this car away. It was at 12.2. Oh. Good news, we can make that go away. Out of sight, out of mind. Don't think about the gas mileage. Don't think about the gas mileage. Okay. Let's get this thing out on the road. First things first when driving this car, you have to do what's called a Hellcat send-off. Now, I don't write these rules, but when you buy one of these cars, it's in the contract. It's just what you have to do. So, well, Prius gods, please forgive me for what I'm about to do. Sorry, Prius. Sorry you had to see that. It's in the rule book. I don't make the rules. Getting the Hellcat out on the road here, and I legitimately have not driven this car for about 6 months. First impression coming from the Prius is that I feel like I'm in an SUV. This thing is massive. And the windshield is like, it feels Camaro-like. I don't remember it seeming like this, but then again, when you're driving a Prius, you know, everything seems pretty low visibility by comparison. Another thing worth mentioning is a little bit more work because you're having to shift the gears yourself. But, you know, back in the day, that was something you would do for efficiency, not only for speed. In this car, purely for fun. Now, it's a windy day, and I have to say the interior noise is quieter than in the Prius. I'm only getting engine noise, but I'm not getting any of the wind buffeting or any of the other stuff that I normally get in the Prius, which is of note. All right, but that's bad for gas mileage. Fun, but bad for gas mileage. Gotta remember that. Let's see here. So far, on this brief drive, we have averaged 10 miles to the gallon. That's not good, and you know, it is 1/5 of what I would get in the Prius. So, you know, if you're asking about gas mileage in this car, probably not the right car for you. But the solution is clear here. The solution is, if you're gonna own one of these cars, you have to balance it out with a Prius. Another key difference between driving the Prius and this is that no one is looking at me. I mean, it's a red, loud muscle car, and I swear the Prius gets me more looks. This might get me a few dirty looks. I'm actually a sheep in wolf's clothing. Everybody on the street assumes I'm some guy who doesn't care about gas mileage or efficiency, when really, I do. Now that I own the Prius. I mean, I didn't when I bought this car. I'm a reformed Hellcat owner. Let's put it that way. I'm just a Prius owner in a Hellcat. I'm gonna try not to get on it too much, although I kind of feel like I need to right now just because I'm in second gear, and I'll get... Woo! All right, having fun? I'm back. I'm an economy man again. I'm just driving the Hellcat. There's nothing wrong. Having a little fun for a short period of time. That wine is so addicting. Although you know the wine is just an audible cue that you're getting bad gas mileage. As a Prius owner, I like audible cues, but all right, I'll give in. All right, calm it down. Prius owner. Prius owner. Whew. Man, I can see myself slipping right back into my gas-guzzling ways with this thing. Way too easily. It is really cool that I can keep an eye on my oil temps and my intake temperatures. All of that stuff in a really big display. That's very handy. It is something the Prius doesn't do. In fact, the Prius doesn't even tell you coolant temperature. But this only has one battery readout, and the Prius has like 5 of them. So you get some, you take some and you lose some. Currently, it's actually starting to get a little misty outside, and I'll tell you one thing, this is not the kind of car you want to be driving when it's pouring rain out. It's got good traction control, it's got all that covered, it's just that even when you're not trying, this car can lose traction. Unlike the Prius, 707 horsepower is actually enough to overwhelm the tires pretty easily. So, unfortunately, I think we're actually going to have to put this car away almost as soon as we got it out. Okay, calm it down. Got to put it away. And soon we will be back in the loving embrace of the Prius. So there you have it, guys. The Hellcat is big, bold, powerful, loud, unapologetic. It's everything the Prius isn't. And that's kind of what's cool about it. I don't think we're done with this car on this channel, not by a long shot. In fact, I think I've got a few more ridiculous comparisons to make along the way. Cat. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it. My name is Elliot. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that normal YouTube stuff, and I'll see you on the next video. You're burning through gas. Where's the... I need to put fuel in it as quickly as possible. Hurry, where do I do it? Oh, the big black door that says fuel. We're driving into the wind now. And, well, it's windy. There's supercharger whine. Sounds good. Wait, but bad gas mileage. Bad. That's bad gas mileage. Cool sound, bad gas mileage. Actually, though, this whole pencil situation would be a real problem.